So the Barcelona chair is really more of a sketching exercise than anything else, right? So let's kind of take it slow and like really talk about layers and stuff like that now, because I want you guys to have better control. So when you guys go to the layer tab here, if you look at it, this is in the default layer right now. So I'm going to just change the name of layer 1 by double clicking on it or whatever, and I'm going to call it line work. You can call it whatever you want, image or what have you. I'm going to double click on the default layer again to make sure that's active, but I'm going to now go here and I'm going to come to the line work, right click and say change object to layer. Okay, so that way then I can turn it on and off as I need, and I can also lock it so that I don't select it. Oop, I don't want to lock it yet. First thing I want to do is really I want to scale this thing, right, so that I can kind of use the measurements as kind of a guide. So I'm going to scale, and then I'm going to, my base point is here, and my other point, I'm holding down shift, is here, and then I'm going to let everything go, stretch it out that way, and I'm going to type 30. All right, and it's really, I love the way how Rhino scales because it's so intuitive. So I can go distance, I can do a little sanity check here. And that's about 30.6 inches. It's close enough. I'm happy. So now I know I'm working in full scale. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this guy down. And then I'm going to just use this as a trace. And I guess the tough thing is to kind of get this, the metal bar. I don't think that's a perfect circle. So I'm going to go ahead and use my curve tool. And I'm just going to put 4 points, and then I'm going to push F10, and then I'm going to adjust my curves as needed. Alright, so I'm kind of happy with that, and I'm going to leave that alone. And I'm going to go to this curve here. This one slightly has an S curve. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm kind of familiar with the chair, so I know that it kind of has a top, and then it starts to curve down. And I think what you'll see is that I don't try to be perfect the very first time around, because I know that I'm going to go back and adjust these points. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. Let me turn it off real quick. Yeah. So I just want to know, okay, so that's on the top and that's on the bottom, so I just want to know which way to offset. Let me do a quick distance check here. And check from here to there. That's about 0.6 inches. So I'm going to call it 0.75, like 3/4 inch thick. I'm making some guesses here. So I'm going to offset distance 0.75, and I'm going to offset this up. I'm going to offset this down, right? Because I think that's where I was. If you guys want to get super anal about it, you guys can draw a straight line and then move. Yeah, you guys should try to be more accurate about things, right? So we got that, and then these are 2 separate curves now. So what I want to do is I want to trim. So I'm going to select both. So now they're kind of independent open curves, right? So that's one open curve, that's another open curve. So, but hopefully they're all joined up together, so I should be able to combine them. And what is the command to check if this is a closed curve?
What?
What? Yeah, there you go. What? Which is really weird. So if I go what, I can go down here and it can say closed polycurves, which is a good thing, right? That's an important thing. So now, if you look at this Barcelona chair, there is a slight radius here, a little fillet. So I'm going to go ahead and give it some fillets. So I'm going to come back in here, fillet, radius. I'm going to take a guess at about 1 inch for now. Oh wait. There it is. Oh, wow. And then I believe I'm going to make that one less than an inch because I think that one's a little bit tighter. So I'm going to go to a fillet again, but radius maybe it's a ½ an inch. It should be even tighter than that, but you know what, I'm going to leave it. Alright, so now I'm going to do another sanity check. I select it, and everything selects, so it's still a closed curve. I'm assuming it's a closed curve. It should be. And then it's a simple extrude. I think these are about 1.5 inches. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So there's a genesis of kind of the legs of the Barcelona chair. Let me go back in here. So the cushion, this is where I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm going to introduce you guys to another tool. Let me see, how do I do this? So I'm going to say the cushion's about a 30 by 18. I think I want to do it flat for now. No. Okay, never mind. So I'm thinking right now, trying to figure out how to do that. I think what I want to try to do is to do a 30 by 30 by, I don't know, 3 inches. So that's the genesis of my cushion. 1 second. I don't know if I can subdivide. Hold on 1 second. I'm thinking rebuild. So this is a 30 by 30 by about 3 inches thick box. This is a new command that I'd like you guys to get familiar with, which is called rebuild. Rebuild is actually quite interesting. What it does is that it takes your shape and it literally rebuilds it to a new set of parameters, right? So what's really important that you guys understand what degrees are and what point counts are. So point count right now, if it's in the brackets, it means I have 4 points, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 points, which means that is one single surface. So when I rebuild, it's going to give me 10 points. I could obviously put that into 100 or 1,000, whatever. Another important thing is this degree. What I want you guys to understand is that there's three different type of curve: degree 1, degree 2, degree 3. It sounds really fancy, but degree 1 curve is just a straight curve, just a straight line. It's a 1 degree curve. That's why they define it. 2 degree curve has an arc. 3 degree curve has a compound arc. All right. So in this case, and that's why it thinks that I want a 3 degree curve, so it starts to bend and make my straight lines wonky. Right. So obviously I want to change that to a 1. Why am I getting all of that? Let's just see. Ooh, not good. Rebuild. You know what? I'm gonna break this up real quick. Rebuild. There you go. So point count, basically here, oh man, it's different now. But the U and the V, basically U is one direction and the V is another direction. You can look at it as an XY. But since they don't know where your model's at as a 3D part, instead of using an XY, they just call it a U and a V. But that's all that means. So right now, it had 2 points, right? 1, 2 in the U, and then 1, 2 in the V. And I'm asking for 10 points. So it's going to subdivide this up into 10 segments. And my degree curve, is it going to be bending? And I'm just going to leave it at, I think I'm going to leave it at 1 for now. I may be mistaken, but we'll see. Maybe I'm going to do 9. So basically, I've rebuilt this surface, right? Oops. I rebuilt this surface with, wow, how did I look at that? I guess I made a copy earlier. With subdivisions, right? So the idea for this is essentially I want to be able to do that, all right? Instead of, if I had this 1 point, that's all I could do here. I'm going to move it around. So if I do an F10, these are the only control points that I have. But now I have a lot more control points, right? So that's the idea. Let me go back. And then I think what I really want to show you guys is kind of, I think the next one I want to show you is cage edit. So let's do that. I'm going to get rid of this for now. Let's see if I can explode. Huh. You know what? I had a second thought. Yeah, Joe. Yeah. So let me see here. I'm going to go into surface command here because I just want a little patch. I'm going to go 3 by 3. So here I have a small 3 by 3 patch here, which I'm going to rebuild. You guys are going to like this. I don't know if I want that many, but maybe I'll go 7 by 7, and then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a degree 3 curve in this case. So that now if I, why does it always do a copy? What's going on here? That is weird. Okay. All right. So now if I take my control points, and since this is a 3-degree curve both in the X and the Y, it gives me, does that make sense? Before it was a degree 1, so it gave me like a triangular because it didn't want to do a compound bend. But this is a 3-degree curve. So I'm going to just take all of these guys, Joe, that's what you were asking, like that. So I get a small little cushion, and what I really want to do is I want to maintain 0 here in that area because those are patches that get sewn. Obviously you can make arcs and whatever you guys want, but so here I'm going to try to select, hold down shift, so pop that up just a little bit on the inside here, pop that up just a tad, maybe in the middle. So here, now you got a nice little cushion that, of course, now you will array. All right. Let's see. Oh, this is actually, I might as well show you that too. Let me move this out. So rectangular array, the way how Rhino works, is really interesting. Sometimes it kind of drives me crazy, but I think it's just a regular array. I can't read any, I can't see anymore. Click. In X direction, I guess that's the red, I'm assuming right now. I want 10 of them. And then the Y, I want 10 of them. And then the Z direction, just 1. And then I want to go from here. And what you have to do is you got to go the diagonal. That's the kind of the tricky part. All right, so just be aware of that. So now I have my, oops, dang it. X, Y. There you go. So I have my little cushions, and they're all ready to go. Okay, and so that should be a 30 by 30. So let me get rid of that, and then let me go to top view here. And I'm going to go ahead and create another rectangle using that as a trace. So I should have a rectangle somewhere here. Yes. I'll pull that down. Oop, actually, I'll pull that down -3. Not that it's important, but just to have sanity here. I'm going to extrude curve upwards 3 inches. So there you go. All right. So, well, technically though, this is a solid chunk, so I'm kind of cheating. And these are flat surfaces, right? So if you guys really wanted to, well, you know what, let's do it. Yeah, let's just do it. So I'm going to go ahead and explode this because I don't need the top. So now this is not a solid, right? But these are also individuals. So what I need to do is, and you know what? You got to pick and choose your battles. I mean, I'm trying to make it watertight now. But sometimes if you don't need it watertight, then don't spend the time. So it all depends on what you guys are trying to do. So that one is solid or clean poly surface. I'm going to combine that. So that should be a clean poly surface. So in theory, if these are all butted up together, it's a clean poly surface, and these are all clean poly surfaces, and this boundary is equal to that boundary, which I kind of think I did. I should be able to join all that together, and that should be a solid. And this should be a closed polysolid. So let's do the what command real quick. And yeah, closed polysurface. Dang, Sam's a good modeler. Sometimes I impress myself. Now you guys are going to see my cockiness on tape. Just don't put it out on YouTube, please. Alright, oops. Alright, so that's kind of it. And then let me show you something else. Actually, it's kind of cool. So anyway, so obviously the cushion's too big, so screwy. So what do? I'm just going to scale it, and I'm just going to cheat. And I did tell you guys cheating is good, right? So, alright, that's about. Now it's too small. Maybe it's about like that. Alright. So what I want to teach you guys how to do is give you guys, put a little bend to this thing, which is kind of cool. You know, hold on, let me undo it, because I like to do it kind of flat. Alright, so here's the deal. This cushion should have a little bit of a U-bend, right, because naturally it kind of sags a little bit. And to bend this thing is actually quite easy. I'm going to show you another command called cage edit. So please review this video, because now we're going through a couple of tools that are pretty. So on cage edit, it says select captive objects, which is this guy, enter, and then it's the type of control I want. I want a bounding box, all right, and then I just coordinate system world, because it's flat to the world, and that's why I wanted it flat. And then it's asking me how many points I want. I know it sounds confusing, but right now I just want, I think 4 points is fine. So I'm going to go 4 in the X, 4 in the Y, 4 in the Z, and then degree 3 curves. Remember what I told you about degree? Degree 1 is straight line. Yes. Alright, so I'm going to keep it at degree 3. Enter. And then what you will see is that you see this cage formed, right? Now that cage is independent of your model, which is cool. So now I can go to that and pull, and the whole model adjusts, right? That's a pretty powerful thing, right? I didn't have to adjust each one of this square now because they're all in one piece. So that's the cage edit, and that's the. I just deleted the cage edit control. Not that you needed to do that, but just so that you know that it's another modifier that's put on top of your model to adjust it. It's a pretty powerful tool. All right, so I think you guys got the rest from here. Scale it and do what you want. If you guys want to get really intricate, you want to like piping, I guess, for the chair. You know, the little rod that goes around for upholstery. You know what? All right, let's try it. So because this is more of a challenge, because you have curves and edges like that. So it's going to be a challenge. So what do we do next? What tool can we use to create that piping? What? Sweep, right? So but for sweep, what do we need? The rail, the path, right? So I can actually extract the path out of that, right? Because right now this is a surface. So I'm going to go to dupe edge. Dupe edge, and then I'd select that, and that. So what it did was it created a path for me. All right, let me get rid of that. And then I double check, and they're not connected, which I want them connected. So I'm going to go like that, join, and then now I need a circle, correct? So what I want to do is I want to draw a circle, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I'm gonna go to the a particular view here. You know what? I'm going to go to the right view because I want to start on that straight line that I see over here. So I'm going to click on the center and make a circle whatever size I want, right? And then what I don't want you to do is to keep that circle there, because what's going to happen is that Rhino doesn't know whether this circle should go on that line or on that line. Does that make sense? Because it's right at that point. So it's going to get confused, believe me. So now that I have its position, I'm just going to move it just slightly. Right? So I'm just kind of helping Rhino, hey, start from here and go around. So let's see if that's going to work. Sweep 1, select rail, that guy, and then cross section is that guy. And that arrow simply means that it's spinning that way. In this case, it doesn't matter. So there you go. Right? So that will not be successful if you left that circle right at that point. I can guarantee you that. It just will know it won't know where to start or how to start. So there's that. There are 4 separate pieces. That's weird. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow, they're like chopped up. Okay. So it would be my advice to you guys is that do not bother trying to boolean these two together. It's just not worth it. Is it possible? Yeah, I think the model's fairly clean, and if I did it, it'd probably work. I'm not going to, because it could also probably not work. But you know, you guys don't feel compelled that everything has to be connected and tied together. All right, just know that. So anyway, I don't know how much detail you guys want to go, but obviously you can put piping down along this whole thing. But I think I've given you guys enough to try to do the model.